Do you know, I think loads of people try and do things to make their exes jealous.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they've seen what you're really like. So even if you try and make yourself up to look different, or you try and go over their mates, all this and that, if they don't want to know you, they don't want to know you. Even when I was younger, stupidly enough, I wanted my ex Dane Bowers back, and I did an overdose. And it's so stupid, it didn't get him back, and... You know, you do these things for attention.
But you see, you fascinate me, Katie, because you just said that like that.
Like it was nothing.
Overdose. But that's such a massive thing to do.
No, it is a massive thing, and it does not work. But I was young, naive. And obviously, if anyone was speaking to me about it now younger, I'd be like, just do not even do that. Walk away. But
how old were you?
I was about 20.
Well, you'd think
that's a bit older. Well, he worked with Victoria Beckham, and I just thought something was going on. I thought, is he obsessed with her? But it ended up being her friend, and I was right. My paranoia was right.
But what sort of pain were you in to be able to do that? Because it's a big deal, isn't it?
I was so heartbroken, and I used to say that he was the love of my life. I used to say, but realising it's not that he was the love of my life, because he's not. I regard Kieran now because we've been through so much. But it broke my heart that it's only made me stronger. Like we was talking, you said your heart...
Do you think it's made you stronger, or do you think it's made you
deal
harder,
with situations?
tougher?
So it might not have been the love of your life, but maybe he was your first love. And there was something so particularly special about a first love, because that's the first time you kind of properly let yourself go, and
you allow yourself to be vulnerable, don't you?
And it's awful. I think having your heart broken, it's like an awful feeling. You can't explain. It's horrible.
It's a physical pain.
It's like a chemical
You
rush,
said your
isn't
heart's
it?
never been broken.
No, well, I'm sort of... I guess because I build a bit of a protective shield around myself, but what I mean, I've obviously never... If I had that bottom, I probably would post that picture, but I don't. But I've never been a game player. I've never done that whole thing of trying to make somebody jealous, because I feel if I have to behave like that for them to be with me, they're not the kind of person I want to be with. And likewise, so I don't behave like that towards people, and I avoid people that would behave like that towards me. So I've only ever really sort of dated people that are very straightforward, like
Have you ever let your barriers down? I think the problem is I let my barriers down, let them in.
Eventually.
So that's why I get hurt.
Eventually. It takes me a long, long time. But you know, I can, hand on heart, I can say I've never had that abject pain. You know, that pain that we were talking about the other day, where you said you were literally putting bin liners at the window and went to bed for 4 weeks or whatever. Never, ever felt that, ever.
Because I think that when you feel those depths of pain, you also feel the highs that go with it. And I get that, being protective. And I think, like you say, after your first love, you do, that scar tissue goes over the old heart, and you just leave a little bit red pumping.
You never quite open it up 100%, 99%. Perhaps, but there's a little bit of you that I think stays scared.
That's growing older and wiser, I suppose. I mean, I think when I was younger, really young, I loved the whole jealousy game. Because, yes, it does come, like, I think, like you said, it's insecurity, and you want them to prove all the time that they really love you. But also, there is quite a thrill in the power of it.
Yeah, it is the power, because you want them to want you.
But it's a dangerous power to play with. And I remember my first ever boyfriend, and when I was really sort of wielding this power and testing out how far I could go. And
how old were you?
17, and I used to love how jealous he would get, and so I would play all these games. So I've never been unfaithful. I'm not somebody that could ever be unfaithful, but I always used to like to pretend that I was. And I remember I was going, you know, well, you know, I was round at his name was Dave's house again the other night, and he'd go, oh, what were you doing? Well, I wasn't playing Monopoly. And the thing was, I was. And it was awful. And then about a year down the line, he broke up with me, and I was heartbroken. And he said, well, what do you expect? All those times you were round at Dave's not playing Monopoly. And I was going, no, I was. But, of course, it was too late. I played that game. I'd cracked that heart and that trust, and then you can't get back in again.
Yeah, and
so
why do you get a thrill from somebody being jealous about you?
Because they want you.
Because I want somebody to really want me.
But can't they want you without having to play all those games?
Now they can, but not when I was young, because I wanted that.
We
want
affirmation. All or nothing, and we want them to want us, and we feel that if you have to play games, it's 10 testing them to like see if they want us.
It is. It
It's
comes
pathetic,
across
really.
ugly. It comes across hard.
And needy
but actually, it does come from a place of insecurity, I think.
It's really interesting because I understand the whole thing of being absolutely wanted and adored. Because as a human being, you know, it's not a male-female thing. It's such a wonderful feeling to have, the full beam headlights of someone's love and attraction fully on you. There's no other feeling like it. But I've never played games to get it. I mean, well, yeah, it's been very well documented. Obviously, I fell in love at school. My first love was a school crush, and we were together for 17 years and had a son together. And I was just too busy kind of following him around like that to play any games. So whenever the headlights came on, whether they were side lights, hazard lights, blinkers, I really didn't mind.
But you're curious to know what it would be like with someone else. If you're just with him. So I always think if you're with one partner, aren't you ever curious what it'd be like with someone else?
If you start really young?
Yeah, and you're with him like...
No, never. No, I was like Maria von Trapp. I was just... I really was. I wasn't curious at all. Obviously, you know, older, wiser, slightly bruised, you know, it's a bit different now.